Robin.
You're listening to Opie and Anthony. On the virus. Sirius XM.
Here he comes.
Yeah.
Mr. Stephen Merchant, take a seat.
Thank you.
Wonderful having you here again.
Thank you for having
Had
me.
you on a couple of times.
Yeah, always fun.
Do believe. Always busy with new projects.
That's right.
Yes.
Good to see you.
There you go.
Thank you.
Comfy.
So I'm just finishing off some kind of
That's
unhealthy
all right.
breakfast.
It's not a cronut, is it? We made the news the other day, boy, let me tell you. We know how to make news.
You guys made news over Cronut?
Oh, of course.
I'm not sure it was national news, but go on.
Damn it.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly the big headline, but like no matter what we do, nobody gives a shit. But then Hugh Jackman's here and he eats a cronut and everybody fucking goes batshit over it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a great radio show that is.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman came in and then apparently the Cronut guy was here, and he gave Hugh Jackman a Cronut, and Hugh Jackman loved it. It was just one of those memorable media moments, like the Hindenburg disaster, and those things you remember for years.
Sure, yeah.
I remember where I was
when Hugh Jackman ate his first Cronut.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
And I'm trying to eat better, but he offered to share a little bit of his thing with me, and I took it. Like
Of course you did. If Jackman offers you some Cronut, you take it.
I know, yeah.
You have to, right?
Of course you do.
Such a creepy.
Such a handsome guy.
That's
One of those.
he's one of those people who's disgustingly handsome and
Yeah,
sort
yeah.
of annoyingly talented.
Yes,
thank you.
and like
Nope, just walk back in.
What?
I just walked in. What happened?
Oh,
Thank you,
Jesus.
Appreciate
We were
that.
just talking about you.
Thanks.
So awkward to walk back in when the show's back on the air.
Actually, your new show is kind of about something like that. There's the popular kind of good-looking Hugh Jackman type.
Right.
You're a little more awkward, I think. But you're
In real
out
life,
there in
or-
the game.
Sure. Yes. I'm I'm esoteric. I'm an
Right.
acquired taste.
Esoteric.
There's the popular Cronut, the
Right.
Hugh Jackman, if you will, that everyone enjoys.
And waits 8 hours online
Right,
to get.
right.
And then there's a Duncan Munchkin or something.
Yes.
We,
Well, I was actually going to go for maybe sort of a more refined,
okay.
more of a granola.
a granola.
Not to everyone's taste.
A niche-y, but just as good.
Just as good.
A cruller, perhaps.
A cruller.
Yes, long and delicious.
There you are. Thank you. Yeah.
You guys are talking about Cronuts, obviously.
Yes,
yes,
and
yes.
Hugh
I didn't
Jackman.
try it that day. I had great willpower.
Is that what it
I had
is?
to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy couldn't take not having
Yeah, it's
a bit of
a
Cronut.
couple of men sharing a
And
pastry.
then a souffle after that. Let's not forget.
We shared it.
I ate a rip-off Cronut in Los Angeles.
Oh,
because
no,
I guess
did
the
you?
Cronut guy has maybe copyrighted the Cronut.
Oh, okay.
So there's lots of kind of imitation
Knockoffs?
Cronuts, yeah, that are going around. I mean, I don't know whether my consumption of an illegal Cronut could make some waves.
Yeah. Are they sold by guys on the street that go, Cronuts, Cronuts? Watches, Cronuts.
Yeah, the guy fucking opens a bag he's carrying. There's just a bunch of sweaty cronuts here.
Cronut.
Did you really walk through a window at Sarah Silverman's house?
Yeah.
Were you high or drunk?
You want me to tell you that story?
I'd love that.
Love it.
I went to Sarah Silverman's house for a party a couple of weeks ago. I wasn't invited. I went with other people. And someone offered me some chocolate. In England, chocolate is normally chocolate.
Uh-oh.
In California, doesn't necessarily mean that chocolate is simply
Right.
chocolate. And it was in a wrapper, like a Hershey-style wrapper. It wasn't Hershey's, I should make that clear, but it was in that kind of wrapper.
Okay.
It looked very official. I consumed some of this chocolate. It turned out it wasn't just chocolate. There was something recreational.
Yes, yes.
I lasted about 30 seconds. I went into a hole from which I couldn't crawl out. Just a dark kind of, the world just enveloped me.
man.
Vroom. Like within seconds, I had a little lie down for a while at the party. One of my great concerns is embarrassing myself in front of a big room of comedians.
Well,
because,
yeah.
you know, comedians don't let you forget.
That will be there forever.
And for a while there, the lying down didn't help, so I went in the bathroom and I stared at myself in the mirror. That didn't help.
That doesn't.
That just
that's
makes things
bad.
worse. Yeah.
It's almost as bad as the guy in Poltergeist that stared in the mirror for a while and started picking his face apart.
Right, well, then I came back out into the party. I thought I'd get a breath of fresh air, and I headed for the outside area. But the route that I took led me straight through an 8-foot plate glass window, which shattered in its entirety. Just crashed around me. I had like a minor graze on my hand, a little graze on my head, otherwise miraculously fine. I'm not quite sure why. I think maybe because my feet are so big they extend so far from my body. I feel like they make contact with it
First.
It's smashed, and then my body arrives.
And then you went
seconds
through.
later.
Perfect. It's like a stunt.
And I sort of blearily kind of turned back and stared. And the person I remember staring vividly back at me was Jeff Ross, the one person you don't want to see you do something like that.
Roastmaster
General.
He's unpleasant to look at under the best of circumstances, much less when you're standing there in blood and broken glass.
But what's extraordinary is I looked at a picture after the event, and the glass was not even transparent. It was a dark brown colour. It was.
So where were you going?
Man alive. It was
zooted.
crazy.
Yeah. Yes.
Were you embarrassed?
I wasn't even, not only the next day. At that moment, I didn't know what to do. I had no sense of
you just go like, oh, that's not a door.
Yeah, I just had I couldn't compute, like, what you do after that.
Yeah, but what was in the chocolate? Did you figure it out? Was it hash?
Probably
was it hot?
Hash, but I
you gotta think it was hash, right?
Probably hash.
More wild than that. It seemed very...
Maybe
You hate to think you
Molly's.
do that just on hash.
Yeah.
It's like, it better have been fucking LSD.
Exactly.
Maybe a little Molly action in there.
Oh, maybe, huh?
Some Molly's.
I sent Sarah an email the next day that said, thanks for a great party, I had a lot of fun. By the way, I don't know if you noticed, but I walked through a glass window. My big fear was that she was going to charge me for it.
Oh, man.
But she said it was insured.
Oh, it was okay.
That was nice.
Oh, there you go. Wow, that's a
great
got
story.
a story, too.
It was insane.
Yeah.
Well, thank God you weren't hurt.
And now we all know Sarah Silverman's a drug addict. That's
Oh,
kind
my
of cool,
God,
too.
no one said
what?
that.
No? Huh?
Now, of course, Hello Ladies
Right.
is your show.
This
your
new
new
show, yeah.
And please, what is it? Tell us a little about it.
Well, I did a stand-up tour. I remember maybe the last time I was here, I was doing a stand-up show here in New York. And that also was called Hello Ladies. And it was mainly stories of my ill-fated romancing.
Right.
And then I did the show in Los Angeles, and HBO said, do you want to think about it as a sitcom? And I said yes, and then that's what we did.
Great idea,
And
yeah.
so it's basically me, not myself, but me as a kind of nerdy web designer trying to score with the women of LA.
Not
as a
yourself.
fantasy of the kind of being part of the beautiful world of beautiful people.
How much of yourself, though? None?
Oh, no, a percentage.
Yeah,
a percentage of me, yeah.
The cool guy part.
Sure, yeah. Well, it's bits of me from across the years, you know what I mean? There's a little bit of the 15-year-old me, and there's a bit of the 25-year-old me, and there's a little bit of the 38-year-old me in there.
The younger you, as big an asshole as all of us think the younger our own selves were, very embarrassing.
Yes, I mean, I feel like I'm still exacting revenge on him for being a loser.
God,
you know what I mean? Like, everything
man.
I'm doing in my adult life is to sort of punish him
Yes,
for being...
we always talk about the fact that if we had that wonderful time machine and can go back,
what would you
we would
say?
just slap them silly.
course,
It's
yeah.
like,
Tell them
you
wake the fuck
idiot,
up.
you're embarrassing.
Right.
You gave me memories that I still fucking toil with.
Right, absolutely.
Horrible.
But then did it make us the men we are today?
Yes, thank God it made us the treasures.
We are. We're national
perfectly
treasures at this point.
Stable treasures we are this very day. I remember I think I was probably 16 years old. My mother was working at a disco. You know, and
Your mother was working at a disco?
She was working at a disco.
What was she doing?
She was a cocktail waitress. She was pretty hot and everything. Yeah. So she was,
That's a creepy thing to say.
It is very creepy,
Yeah.
but I knew the score. I wasn't fucking her. I just knew she was kind of hot.
Her choice, by the way.
Not for want of trying.
Yeah, of course. So occasionally I would go there because the drinks were free. I'm broke. I could go down there and get fucking hammered shit. So I'm getting drunk and
Wait,
stuff.
how old were you?
I was probably 16.
See, that's normal for him. I can imagine trying to find drinks at 16 at a disco.
That was great.
Served by your
because my
mother.
worked. Yeah, served by
Thank
dear
you.
old mom.
But to him, this is a normal thing that we all did.
Yeah, all the waitresses though knew me. You know, I was Rose's kid, so I would go in there and get hammered. And I remember one time I went a little too far, got really drunk, and the coat check girl was like fucking like I thought she was adorable and stuff, and she had to be maybe mid-20s, and I'm 16, and I was all drunk, and I leaned over. And I went, I love you. And I went to grab her and spilt the drink all over her.
Jeez.
And to this day, that cringiness of thinking of it hasn't gone away. I
it's
still
still
live
there,
with
yeah.
it. I wake up like in the cold sweat, just sit up in bed. Oh my God.
You could be married to a coat check girl.
Yeah. It's another way to look at it.
Yeah.
Damn it.
No, I agree. You're just haunted constantly by the
terrible.
things that you didn't do, the things you did do.
Yeah.
The problem I feel like, I feel Like, I wonder now in high school, when you get to like 16, they should issue you with like a copy of that book, The Game.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or just something, just anything, just to give you some kind of help.
Some instruction.
Neil Strauss's pickup artist fucking guide.
Yeah, I think, because, I mean, maybe if you have like an older brother or something, maybe that's helpful, but I had no guidance. My father didn't talk to me about sex or girls.
You're out there blind.
Working blind, and I didn't know there was the internet now. I guess maybe you just go on there and that gives you everything you need to know.
I would imagine
you can't go to the library in the 80s.
Let me look
how to pick up girls.
But even so, the internet gives you the opportunity to make that first, breaking the ice and building up a rapport with somebody before you even have to meet them. And if you fail miserably, it's not face to face. You're not embarrassed that much.
Not at all.
I wasn't even thinking of it as dating online. I was thinking to use it as a research tool.
Just as a research tool, which also works.
Sure,
but
because apparently I was reading something in some, and it sounds like it's going to be a trashy article. It was actually in a high class publication, I forget which, but they were saying that pornography is having a real impact on young people now because they're watching it, and it was hard when we were young to get access to pornography.
Even get it.
Crazy, you could never get it. You had to get hold of a VHS tape from somewhere from a man. And it was hard to watch it. And now you just go online, and people now, like, apparently young people are thinking that you're constantly switching partners.
Yes.
There's two at once.
They're very knowledgeable on things, and I remember being in like a garage and you're moving something and you see a stack of porno mags and it glowed like the case in Pulp Fiction.
Right.
You're just like, oh my God, because that's how you found them. You couldn't buy them, so you had to find them under a pile of leaves in the woods or wherever.
You just have to wander through life hoping you find them.
And now it's like, I want to see the most disgusting thing you could think of. You go to JimNorton.com.
Believe me, I was ready to fire out a Miro joke.
Of course.
Of course, you continued and smashed me first.
But you wandered around the woods. We did trash day. With our bikes, up and down the streets, and you just waited for those piles of newspaper and magazines, and every once in a while you cut that free, and you would find the gold.
Buried in there?
You would find the gold inside.
The gold.
But you would leave everyone's trash a complete fucking mess, because you didn't put it back together.
It's beautiful stories of old America like that.
Americana.
Which are gone now, destroyed by the internet.
The Norman Rockwell years.
The Norman Rockwell painting of the kid finding porno.
That would be really funny, just to do a Rockwell-esque painting of just a kid finding
some porn, big smile.
You would have to hit at least 100 houses, but there was always one that was throwing away some old magazines, man.
Yeah,
we
found
that's
it. Cool. You were mining for you.
Absolutely.
The Bill Devane of porno.
Well, if you have a paper route, you're already,
you're halfway there.
In that world. You're halfway there.
Yeah.
There's something about the smell of musty, like when you find them outdoors, they've been rained on. There was a smell of that musty fucking
brings you right
outdoor
back.
magazine.
It brings you right back though when you smell that smell.
You'd have to turn them gingerly so you didn't rip the damp page. Oh, they're the best.
And there was really no place to go. You didn't have your own space to go with this,
of
you needed a tree fort or a shed in the backyard.
Well, if you were lucky enough to get hold of a VHS tape, you had to wait for your parents to go. There was only one VCR in our house in the living room. You couldn't just pop down when your parents were watching Columbo. Throw it on. You had to wait till they went out.
The freaking aunt would rent out the projectors at school for porns.
Well,
that was pretty brilliant,
I was just a tad before the whole, like when I was first noticing that I kind of liked girls and stuff, VHS, not so much.
Okay.
Little, like films. 8mm films.
Wow. That makes it even seedier.
It was seedy, but we didn't have an 8mm projector. So we went to the school and talked to the AV guy into lending me a projector so I could take it home and invite my friends over and watch.
Because you really had to study Africa.
Watch a stag film.
Right.
Yeah, just something about having that projector, like having to draw the curtains.
Oh, that's what it was.
Draw the curtains. Make sure you're feeding it through the little.
And you hear that.
The sprockets didn't align properly.
It was dirty. So dirty.
And what were porno films like in the
It was just I remember this one. It was very dark. It was it was in color but bad, like washed out color. And it was some woman disrobing.
Sure.
She was on a couch, standing on a couch. It was too far away. There were no real close-ups. And then some guy came in who looked like he looked Turkish with the body hair. and just went at her.
You remember it so vividly.
Oh yeah, it was amazing. It was great. You know, I was the hero that day.
Sure, of course.
By the way,
What's better than you remember the weird textural thing? Like you remember hardcore glossy ones that you'd find like there was a softcore magazine.
Oh yes.
But
like
then there was the hardcore.
Yeah.
The high gloss, like
the pages were very thick.
Oh yeah. They had nice fucking. Do you see insertion? Like they didn't show that in like
yeah. That was the hardcore. That was like finding friggin' the gold mine.
They were hard to
the
find.
gold mine. Yeah.
We might have went too far with Stephen Merchant.
Oh, no,
he just gave
I know. Now we
just gave it
talking about hello ladies, and we get into
How
this.
did we get into that?
I know.
That was my fault.
Talking about
I segued into it.
our 15-year-old us, and then we never advanced to
this is the thing. We're still talking about this. Is why if we'd had a healthy sex life as teenagers, we wouldn't be talking about this rubbish.
How old were you the first time you got laid?
Oh, late. It was late. I can't even remember.
I was 18.
Oh, I was later than that. I don't even really remember it. I feel like it was like it's not like a moment. It was just like a slow blur.
That
time.
kinda...
You know what I mean? Like at some point I was no longer a virgin.
Yeah.
But I don't really remember any specific moment.
I was 18 too. Late 18, college.
Well,
Yep.
I think it was university for me.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Were you having oral sex first? I was having oral sex before that.
None of that.
No.
that was this is so weird. Back when I was growing up and trying to get laid, oral sex would come after regular sex. Like a girl was more apt to have regular sex with you than have oral sex.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, weird, right?
Well,
now it's
oral
like,
sex,
this is he's taking me out tonight. Might as well.
I had no opinion of any of this. No, it was all just a weird, mysterious thing.
Believe me, I don't want to sound like I have some great sexual prowess back then.
Oh, yeah.
It was a big mystery.
No, it wasn't with you. His father got him his first lay.
Oh, you're one of those creepy ones.
Well, I didn't know.
But he was young. He was like 14.
Yeah,
like you didn't know.
13 or 14. Well, she would be over the house all the time. But then, like, this girl, Buzz. Her name was Buzz.
Yeah.
Her name was
She went to the moon with Neil Armstrong.
This is such a creepy story.
Buzz.
Your father was bringing her around.
Well, the worst thing that could possibly happen in my father's head, it was that his son would be a faggot.
Right.
So,
lo and behold.
Turns out that wasn't the worst thing that could happen.
So as I was out in California with him growing up, he would, put me in man training kind of things. Like, have beer, sit on the back of a Brahma bull for 8 seconds, shoot guns, like do all these things. And then at one point, it was like, all right. He's, and he probably sensed I was spending a little more time in the bathrooms than I usually used to.
Sure.
So,
but at 13 or 14,
and you were cleaning your gun,
right? Yes.
But at 14, that's the part I don't understand.
Well, yeah.
No one knows what the fuck's going on yet. You're all over the place.
No. But I had the want, of course. But then I didn't have to deal with trying to figure it out because there was Buzz. Buzz would be around.
Who was Buzz?
Buzz was 19. She was a friend of the family. She was always hanging around our stable.
Was a friend of the family.
A go-getter.
We had horses and stuff, so she would always hang around the stable and drink and knew the whole circle of friends. She was at all the parties and everything.
She didn't look 42.
No, exactly. She was a little weathered, ridden hard and put up wet in the equestrian circles. We say. So I guess my father had set it up with her that all right, we're going out. And then you stay home with Anthony, and whatever happens, happens.
Wow.
So she was like, "Oh, go upstairs, take a shower." I was like, "Oh, okay."
She just told you.
I go upstairs, take a shower, and I come out of the shower, and I just think I'm going back downstairs to watch TV.
Yeah.
With Buzz.
Yeah.
And I hear, "Are you coming in from one of the bedrooms? You're coming in." I'm like, "Well, what is she doing?
This is amazing.
Why? And then I was like, oh man, like then it hit me.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit. So I go to the door and look, and she's sitting up in the bed with the pillows against her back. So she's sitting up with the sheet like at her waist, and she had these big old Buzz tits. And it was like the first real live tits I saw. I was just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
This is it. We're going in.
Well, it's funny because one of my fantasies when I was younger was always, I used to watch a lot of James Bond films, and invariably James Bond would come back to his hotel, and like whoever the seductress was, would sort of, there'd be a trail of clothes from the sort of door, and then she'd be waiting for him in the bed. And I always used to think that would be, what a fantasy. Even to this day, I've never come back to a hotel room, even when I was dating someone, and they knew that was the fantasy. I've never come back and they were waiting when we were trying to fix.
Never.
You just did that basically happened in your own house?
Yeah.
Wow. You just assume that's how girls took their clothes off.
Right,
they start at the door.
Right.
Of course, the shoes come off, the dresses, everything.
Wait, I got a question for Anthony.
Yeah.
I've heard that story a lot.
Yeah.
When did your dad finally tell you that he set that whole thing up?
The next day.
What did he say?
It was the next day. He's like, so, how was your night?
And you were like...
I was like, but I didn't want to talk about it. So I was like, good.
So what, did he pay her?
No, she just was,
She was into it.
She would do anything.
Was he fucking her too?
I don't know. I think he probably threw one in her at some point.
You shared a girl with your dad?
I think everybody.
That's a little strange.
I've heard of guys doing that before.
This is horrific.
But I didn't know. But then, like, she would come over before I would go to school, like, for like a year. She would come over, like, occasionally, maybe once,
You're living the dream.
twice every couple of months and stuff like that. And then, she'd like, oh, I want to eat it. And then she'd, like, go down on me or stuff, and I'd be like, oh, I got to go to school.
This is
I
mental.
want to eat it, she'd say?
Yeah.
Your cum?
Yeah. And then she'd go to, and then I'd finish up and run off to Marco Forster Junior High.
This is one of the most distressing things I've ever heard. No wonder you've turned out like you have.
Yeah.
Man.
It was crazy.
Well, you're not going to relate to this show, this TV show about a guy who can't get laid. I mean,
Well, no. Look, it was very.
I hope things dried up for a while. Once your father stopped organizing
it did. Once I moved back to New York,
Right.
that was a whole different animal out there.
Yeah.
This was California, circa 76, 77.
Right.
He put you down a bad road, man. I don't even know how you concentrate in junior high knowing what's waiting for you.
Oh, it was great. Like, but I kept my mouth shut. Not like these kids now. They get teachers and everybody in trouble. I kept my mouth shut. I knew I wanted that before
I didn't want
school.
my father to go to jail.
Yes, that's fucking. Now you look, it's like this hot teacher is having sex with a 15-year-old student or something like that, and they get in trouble because the guy says something.
How is that happening? What teacher
know.
is like getting some alone time with a pupil, and then they're like having a flirty conversation? Like, you're having so many stages before you get to that.
Right?
It's so weird.
Yeah, I don't know how that.
And then you got
happened.
to trust the pupil to not tell anybody.
Not rat you out.
That's crazy, man.
So weird.
Yeah.
Like, but you know what? You're so seduced by his charm and sophistication.
Yeah.
While you're grading his papers, this essay is beautifully written. Such delicious handwriting.
He's talking about me.
Yeah.
These are my feelings. How bad? It's like his summer vacation.
How bad did you want to talk, though, man?
All us kids would get together, the guys, and when we talk about sex and stuff, and they were all,
But you never
I'd be like, yeah, sure, that's where you put it. It was fucking, and I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm sure.
You finally
it'll be
told
great.
him?
No, I told Richard.
I would have fucking blabbed.
My best friend Richard, who turned out to be gay and tried to have oral sex with me in our tree fort.
Wow.
But Buzz always wanted to have a little party with me and Richard. And Richard would always say, no.
What happened to Buzz?
What happened to Richard?
To Buzz.
Oh, to Buzz? Buzz moved to San Diego and married a sailor.
So she's still around.
I guess.
She probably listens to this.
Have you changed her name for the purposes of broadcast radio?
No, her
Yes,
first
it was
name
Frank.
her first name was, her real first name was Christine, or Chris, we call it, but she was called Buzz.
So if she's out there, she should call the show.
I would love
I bet you she
to
listens.
talk to Buzz.
That would be amazing.
Oh my
That
God.
would be amazing.
Talk about the last probably decent lay I threw anybody.
We turned this interview into like therapy instead of like
I know,
pushing
we're
Stephen
supposed to be
Merchant's.
talking about Hello Ladies.
Sure, right, yeah.
Well, we have a crack staff here because Hello Ladies premieres September 29th at 10:30 a.m. on HBO.
Definitely not the
I
case.
don't
Wow,
think
they gave you a
that's true.
horrible time for
What
the
a
show.
terrible time slot.
Oh, that's right. There's a PM.
Yeah.
That's a weird time for an HBO
Yeah.
show.
Is
But,
that been sent through from my crack team, or is that
No,
yours?
that's us.
yours,
Believe me,
right?
no, it's us. And of course, it's Stephen Merchant on Twitter, but it's STEPHEN.
Yeah.
Did we do the show justice?
It's about you
think
not
so.
getting.
I don't think so. I don't think
so
we did it
either.
at all. It's very funny. The awkwardness is very relatable.
Yeah.
Except for me.
Of course. No,
But
player like you.
it's very funny.
Well, to me, it was like they said to me about setting it in New York, in Los Angeles, and that was the thing that kind of was appealing to me because there's something about. And I don't know if this is true of I'm sure this is true of a lot of American people as well, but certainly when I was growing up in the 80s, and we talked about the high schools and everything, like, the idea of California, particularly Los Angeles, was this preposterous fantasy. Like, you'd see it in TV shows, and to me, it's like it was soundtracked by like music that had a lot of saxophone in it. So consequently, in the show, like we've had kind of there's a sort of a hint of like saxophone music.
That's great.
And we have a credit sequence that kind of subtly evokes like the moonlighting credits. Shows, you know, that idea of like that there was kind of, I always imagine there's women in kind of mink coats, kind of getting out of limousines, going through red velvet ropes into kind of VIP parties. And sort of the Playboy mansion, and this very kind of, I guess like a kind of like a Playboy fantasy of what sort of adult sophistication would be, you know, men in smoking jackets.
Yeah, and, that's adult sophistication. Yeah, adult sophistication
was
a child.
Right, exactly. And so that was the idea. It seemed exciting to me, the idea that he's this kind of loser from England who's come to Los Angeles and has some success. He can afford a house and a car and things. And that somehow this will buy him entry into that world.
That magical world. Yeah.
And of course that magical world does exist to some degree, but it's not open to the likes of you and I.
No, that's...
You know, and I've got my own TV show, and it's not open to the likes of me. I'm amazed by how I'm still turned away from things when my billboard is on the street opposite.
Right?
It's extraordinary.
Is it frustrating, though, because you were a part of, you know, I think one of the great shows ever, and you were a huge part of the original Office and writing it and creating it, and, you know, it was not just Ricky, it was you too, but he happened to be in it.
Right.
Is that ever frustrating where you look at like, fuck man, like he gets all this accolades from it and they don't understand that I was also a big part of that?
I never felt frustrated that I didn't get enough accolades, because for people like you who knew about the show and were fans of the show, then they knew my involvement. It was more that doormen at clubs and, you know, cocktail waitresses didn't know who I was. That was what frustrated me. I remember going to Los Angeles around the time we won a Golden Globe for the show, and it was very exciting. And I remember someone put me on a list that week for a club, and I was on the list, and I went to the club, and I said I'm on the list, and the guy went, which list? And I went, how many lists are there? They went, there's 2. I said, could you check both? He went, no, I ain't got time.
Oh shit!
Right, and I just stood there like a lemon. Just stood up by this rope, and I couldn't persuade the guy to check the lists, and other glamorous people were coming through, and in the end I just had to like sheepishly walk away. And even when I'm on the list, I'm not on the list. What do you do at that point? What do you do? It's like, hey, have you ever seen the original British version of The Office?
Yeah.
Well, I was one of the writers. Like, it's sort of it's too.
Yes.
Yeah,
too many
steps.
Yeah.
The list of people that were in the doesn't work.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Well, Steven has to leave, but the show is Hello Ladies. It's on HBO. 10:30, September the 29th, which is a Sunday?
That's Sunday, yeah.
Sunday, which is an amazing time slot. It's a great time for
we'll
it.
all be watching, of course.
And I'm sure it'll be a hit, because everything you've done has been brilliant.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
What a lot of fun. Thanks,
thanks for
Steven.
coming in.
Always great having you on.
I do hope you get in touch with Buzz.
Yes, I want Buzz
and
on the show.
feel free to forward me your number.
Had to have one more bite, didn't you, Steven? That's good stuff.
Waste not, want not.
Yes. Take care,
Thank
man.
you, Steven. Steven Merchant, everyone.
Here goes Steven. He's fun, man.
Yeah.
I like Steven.
Tell him, Fred.
The Virus. Sirius XM. This is the Opie and Anthony Show.